Hey everyone, this is Nikki Rowland, and today I am guest designing for Mind the Scrap for one of the challenges from their Cybercrop. So every 3 months or so, Emma Clark from Mind the Scrap puts on a fabulous Cybercrop. So you pay £7 and you are in a private group for the entirety of the weekend, and there are about 19 challenges throughout the weekend, and obviously lots of prizes on offer. Emma's prompts are fabulous. I really love them, and I get loads and loads of scrapbooking done every time we have a Cybercrop. So today I am making a layout for one of those challenges. So welcome to challenge 16, and that is Sunday 2 p.m. Okay, so the prompt that I'm working with is this. Well, there's various things in each prompt that Emma does, and one of those prompts today is to use stars. So as you can see, I'm doing lots and lots of stars. So I had 2 pages of that Pink Fresh Studio paper, and I have used one as my background, and I've cut a whole bunch of stars from the other sheet using a star punch, and you can see that I have layered them onto the paper as my background. So I've basically gone colour on colour. I have also randomized my layout by using an embellishment that doesn't go with the rest of my layout. So those cork stars really don't go with the colour on colour thing that I've got going on here. That's one of the prompts as well, and the other prompt that was part of this prompt was to scrap a sibling story. And with Emma's prompts, you don't have to do all of them. You can choose one element, or you could choose multiple or whatever, or you could even kind of twist them so that you've got something to suit you. So there's lots and lots of options for each prompt, and I never have issues trying to work out what I'm going to make for one of them. So really, really great fun to take part in the whole weekend. So as you can see, I'm doing really well with building up my stars colour on colour, apart from my random cork stars, which don't go at all. I did consider painting them, but then they wouldn't have fit the random prompt. I am also cutting a few extra stars in the same colours, obviously, and I'm raising these on foam pads. So all the other ones are stuck flat, but I'm just cutting a few extras to raise up on foam pads, just so that I have a bit of, I have a few shooting stars, effectively. So a few stars that have some extra dimension. I say I'm just picking out a few of each of the colours, so maybe 3 or 4 of each colour, or 5 in this case, because it's the biggest section, and I'm raising them all on foam pads and just sticking them randomly in the right sections. So you may notice that also down on the right hand side that I have a half and half star. So I've got one that's half of it in the white and one half of it in the pink. That's because once I was sticking my stars down, I really wanted some of them to be going over those edges. It didn't look right with them not quite overlapping. To be within the lines just wasn't quite working. So I've counteracted that by creating some that are half and half. I just did that by layering 2 on top of each other and cutting through them, and then I had 2 pieces that I was able to layer up. So just adding my title now, I'm adding the title Partners in Crime. These are really cute Pink Fresh Studio alphas. They're white with like a gold foil pattern on them. They're really pretty. You can see I pulled all my letters off my sheet first and stuck them to my arm. That's what I normally do, and then I added the letters backwards to make sure that I had them in the right place. Now, as with most letter stickers, they tend to fall off at some point. A few years down the line, they're all in the bottom of the page protector. It's really annoying. So right at the end of this and off camera, I do actually stitch through these letters on the sewing machine so that they are not going anywhere. So I had a cork star in exactly the wrong place, and as I'd already stuck them down with wet glue that was completely dry, it made a mess of my layout when I pulled it off. So I'm just fixing that right now. So I just did another yellow star, stuck it flat, and then I could add my C for crime. No issues, just because I'd got a problem there, managed to fix that one, so no major big deal. Okay, so just realised that a few of my things are not quite stuck properly, or I think I found an extra cork star, not sure, and so I'm just adding that one down, and I'm pretty happy with how that's looking. I'm really liking the colour on colour effect on this paper. For those of you who know me well, I don't often scrapbook on a whole sheet of pattern paper. That kind of scares me, takes me out of my comfort zone massively. So to have no white card in sight at all on this layout is definitely out of my comfort zone. However, there was a nice big white section at the bottom, which made me happy. So, okay, so you can see how I've got my stars kind of concentrated around the edges of my photos. I would like to add some embellishments there as well. Obviously, I have quite a busy layout going on at the moment, so I don't want to add too much. I also don't want to raise up my photo too much in fear of disturbing my star arrangement. So I also can't add too much by way of embellishments because they will they might overpower. So I'm just trying to keep things fairly small. I'll probably go for the two corners of the layout of the photo. At this point, I've picked up another piece of Pink Fresh Studio paper. This one is the Super Cool collection, I believe, and it's this sheet with words all over it. So lovely words. I've gone for just the white ones because I'm going for tone on tone, and I'm going only white over the white section. And I've picked out some words that suit my photo and my story, and they are BFFS, and This Rocks, Together, Best Friends, and Cool. So I've gone for those, and I'm going to layer those on the white section, cascading down towards the bottom of the layout. I have some issues with some of my stars, so I wanted to, I didn't want the stars to be completely covered up. I wanted some of them to be poking out, and I wanted some to overlap some of the words, so that was a bit tricky. I had to slot some bits in and reposition a couple of stars to make that work. I also I toyed with the idea of putting a word at the top there as well, but in the end decided against it because it went against my colour on colour theory. So just adding in some other embellishments while I decide exactly what I'm going to do with the words at the bottom of the layout here. So I had a couple of pieces of ephemera, so I've added a flower to the right of my photo there. I did another pink flower to the top left corner of the photo too. I'm just going through, I want to keep everything quite small and concentrated in that area. I don't want to spread too many things around the layout because, as I say, I've got this whole central focus thing going on with the photo and the concentrated stars around the photo. But I do love embellishments, so I thought I'd add some. I found that little hexagon from the Pink Fresh ephemera. That's down on the yellow on the left. It's got the F on it and it says favourite underneath, and then I had some stars, sorry, not stars, I had some hearts cut out from some paper previously, so I used one of the yellow ones at the top left of the yellow section above the title, and now I'm just going back to those word stickers. So I'm now distressing the edges of those. I'm feeling ready to commit to their placement. So I'm just distressing the edges, and then I'm going to get them stuck in place. I do like how they look, actually. I debated whether I should use them or not because I was worried that it would take away from the stars. But actually, I don't think you lose any of the effect of the stars at all. And they look pretty good, actually, the way that they've layered up quite nicely with the different lengths and stuff. So and like some I've got 2 words and some are really short words. So yeah, it's worked out really well. I'm happy with how that little section's looking. It also kind of tells a bit more about my story as well. So yeah, just carrying on, getting everything stuck in place now. I have a few bits that are not stuck, so I'm just making sure that they are all stuck down and that I'm happy with how everything is looking. A few, I didn't have much by way of embellishments to add to the pink sections, so I'm just going through. I had some puffy hearts, so I'm just adding a couple of those. I found another pink hexagon that says beauty, and that has a big B at the top there, so that goes well with the F yellow hexagon lower down. I thought I'd add a couple of bows. So I have this set of Pink Fresh Studio bows. We have a bit of a love-hate relationship. In theory, I like the colour, but in practice, I don't. I prefer them to be all the same colour. So blue middle section, blue bow, and then the blue tails at the back. So, but not all different colours. That's kind of doing my head in, so I pulled out a few of them to make correct coloured bows. So a pink one with all pink pieces, and a yellow one with all yellow pieces. In the end, actually, they don't have the bit at the back, so I don't know what that's called. The tails? I don't know, but they're just flat bows with the loops and the bit in the middle. That's all that they are. That's all that they are, rather than the bit at the back. I don't know what that's called. So I was trying here to go for like I think it's a lemonade stand puffy sticker to randomise my layout a bit more, but in the end decided that was a step too far and that I couldn't make it work. Okay, coming in with a few more of those lovely puffy heart stickers. I realised that some of those are such pale pink that they're almost white, so I figured they were fair game for the white section of this layout. Yeah, they look really good. They just give an extra kind of texture, without being at all overpowering, because white on white is a bit tricky anyway. So the fact that they had a very small, very, very pale pink tinge actually looks really good. So I've just got those bows stuck in place with some glossy accents. I'm just worried that they're not going to stick properly, so I've got glossy accents sitting on top of one and a punch sitting on top of the other one, just to hold them in place for a few minutes while they dry a bit. So just handwriting in my journaling now with a light grey pen. It reads, even though you annoy each other and regularly wind each other up, really you are the best of friends, playmates, and definitely partners in crime. So yeah, that definitely sums up their relationship. Obviously we have another one now to add to the mix. This photo was taken when he was around, but he was a really tiny baby then, so he wasn't in this photo, as they were jumping on each other. Okay, so now adding sequins. So I love sequins, of course, and this layout was screaming out for sequins given the crazy starburst background and the little gaps in between the stars, and the colour on colour theme going on here too. So I've pulled out some white sequins to go at the bottom section, some rose gold sequins to go on the right section, and dark pink sequins to go at the top, and yellow sequins to go on the yellow. So I just spent a little bit of time getting all of those sorted out and then stuck in place. You can see here that that's come out really well. I've got quite a lot of sequins. Again, I'm concentrating them towards the middle or around the photo, and they become more sparse towards the edges. Just adding in some twiddles of gold thread. I do love having threads, metallic ones anyway, hanging from my layout. So I'm just realised that it was a bit too late actually to do that. Yeah, it's I actually went for gold thread at the top left of the photo because it was over the yellow section, and silver thread at the bottom right side of the photo because it was over the white section. So slightly controversial to have gold and silver accents on the one layout, but there you go. Okay, so that is me done. I really hope you enjoyed this layout today. I loved making it. It was really great fun. Make sure you check out Emma's Mind the Scrap Cybercrops. They really are awesome. You can find the details on her website and also on her Facebook group too. Thank you so much for joining me. That was Nikki Rowland, guest designing for Mind the Scrap.